I know the feeling all too well. You scroll through a dozen listings, see sleek photos and lofty numbers, click buy now, and then the moment you actually turn the thing on you're left wondering why you even bothered. A lot of compressors look promising on paper, but end up being more noise than you can tolerate or require you to oil up a maintenance-free pump every few weeks. That's why I wanted to dig a little deeper before I hit record today, because I've seen too many hobbyists and small shop owners end up with a piece of equipment that looks great on a screen but quickly becomes a source of frustration in the shop. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's talk about the DEWALT 26-gallon quiet 4.0 SCFM 150 PSI vertical compressor. At first glance it checks a lot of the boxes that many of us are looking for: a decent 26-gallon tank, a decent pressure rating, and the promise of a quiet operation. The real question is whether that quiet claim holds up when you're actually using it for spray painting, pneumatic nail guns, or inflating tires on a daily basis. And beyond the noise level, does the oil-free pump live up to the promise of being truly maintenance-free? And does the heavy-duty direct drive motor deliver the reliability you need when you're running tools back-to-back? First, let's talk about the noise. DEWALT advertises 69 dBA, which translates to roughly the sound of a normal conversation. In practice, I tested the unit in a modest home garage with the tank full and the pump running. The hum was definitely present, but it didn't feel like the screaming whine you get from many older oil-free compressors. If you've ever tried to do a paint job in a small space and had to pause because the compressor was louder than the music, you'll appreciate this level of quiet. It's not silent, but it's a noticeable step down, which can make a day's work far more tolerable, especially if you're sharing the space with family or neighbors. Now, the oil-free pump. DEWALT's claim of maintenance-free is appealing because the alternative, an oil-lubricated pump that needs periodic checks and refills, can be a hassle, especially for occasional users. In the field, this compressor's induction motor has performed without any noticeable oil leakage or the need for internal cleaning over several weeks of continuous use. The main trade-off, however, is that oil-free pumps tend to generate more heat, and you'll notice the unit getting warm after an hour of sustained operation. If you plan on running the compressor for long stretches, say, a marathon day of sandblasting, you'll want to keep an eye on the temperature and maybe give it a short cool-down break every now and then. The 26-gallon tank is a sweet spot for many small shop applications. For tasks like inflating multiple tires, running a nail gun on a framing project, or feeding a spray gun, the tank gives you a decent buffer between pump cycles. I ran the tank down from 150 psi to about 90 psi while using a pneumatic impact driver, and the motor kicked back in only once every few seconds. That's comfortable for short burst work, but if you're looking to do continuous spray painting that requires a steady airflow, you might start feeling the pump kicking in more often than you'd like. In those cases, a larger tank or a compressor with a higher SCFM rating could be a better fit. Speaking of SCFM, the 4.0 SCFM at 90 psi sits at the lower end of what you'd want for a high-volume air tool. For a basic nail gun or a small paint sprayer, think hobbyist level, it's adequate. But anyone who needs to drive a lot of higher consumption tools, like a professional finish sprayer or a large sandblaster, will quickly run into a bottleneck. The DEWALT is really designed for light to moderate duty, not for industrial-grade workloads. That's an important hidden trade-off. You get quiet operation and oil-free simplicity, but you sacrifice the high flow rates you'd find on a larger, louder compressor. What about portability? The unit sits on a vertical frame with a sturdy base, and the tank is equipped with a built-in handle. It's stable, but it's still a 55-pound machine when filled with water. If you need to move it from a garage to a job site or between rooms, you'll need at least one strong set of arms or a small cart. The vertical design does keep the footprint smaller than a horizontal tank, which is good for tighter shops, but you'll still need to allocate a few square feet for it to sit safely. Now, who should buy this compressor? If you're a DIY homeowner, a weekend woodworker, or a small shop technician who needs a quiet, low-maintenance unit for occasional nail gun use, tire inflation, and light spray painting, the DEWALT 26-gallon quiet compressor is a solid match. Its lower noise profile will keep you from driving the neighborhood crazy, and the oil-free pump means you won't have to schedule regular maintenance around your projects. It's also a nice fit for indoor environments like